Truth spoken here with your host, the maestro Eddie C. McLeod. That's me, y'all. Welcome once again to Truth Spoken Here. Today I want to talk about this being Black History Month, why Black history is so important. There's an old adage that says, those who do not know their history are doomed to repeat it. And also there's a passage in the Bible, I believe Hosea 4 and 6, it says, my people are destroyed from lack of knowledge. Now if we ponder those two statements and apply them to our current situation, we can kind of look at those two statements and, let's look at how things are with Black America right now, the Black people in America. We're in trouble. We're perishing from gang violence, police killing us, a slew of problems that are basically, a lot of them are things that we brought upon ourselves. Now, that's not to dismiss the other exterior forces that tug at us and that these snares that have been set for us or anything like that. But like I said, I believe, as I've always said on this podcast, I believe in taking responsibility and stuff, because nothing's going to change until we gain and apply knowledge in certain areas. Now, as I said, when I first began doing this podcast, I don't want to isolate anybody. Like I say, as far as the audience that I'm targeting, I don't mean to isolate my Caucasian brothers and sisters, Asian brothers and sisters, or Hispanics, or anybody else, But right now, this being Black History Month, I'm addressing African Americans right now. Now, some years ago, I worked at a school on the custodial staff, and I used to hate for this month to come because I had a guy that used to ride to work with me, and he'd go on and on about how it's a shame the schools aren't doing anything for Black history, not having a Black history presentation or anything of that sort. And so, one day I really got tired of just hearing this every day for 28 days or whatever for the whole month of February. So I just asked him, if you think about it really and truly, I think teaching about Black history is our responsibility, not that of any school or any other educational institution. I mean, because let's look at the history that is being taught. Let's look at American history. They can't even get their own, these people can't even get their own story right. Like that ridiculous story about Columbus discovering America. How the hell is it you discover something or some place and you get there and you got people already living there and flourishing and they've got their own form of government, however crude it may appear to you. They've got their own governing rules set up already. So if they can't get their own history right, I'll be damned if I wouldn't be teaching my child anything about Black history. And if you look at things now, there are some efforts now, with this thing, what are they calling it, critical race theory. It's like they're trying to erase anything to do with almost anything to do with our history because the interaction between us and Caucasians, for the most part, white people in this country for the last 400 years, they have not been very amicable. And I'm just gonna call a spade on that one. So, when you start talking about critical race theory and, you start examining history and, stuff like slavery, all the trouble we had in the 50s and 60s with the civil rights movement and, stuff like that. When you start examining stuff like that, I think the reason that they don't want it taught is because it shows, when that stuff is taught, there's a degree of accountability and some shame if you're a decent human being that probably is going to be going to come about from examining those things. But as far as that, it's all good because, like I say, it's up to us to tell our children about our history. And black history in this country, African American history, whatever you want to call it, has been here from the very beginning. If you go back to the American Revolution, among the first to die was a guy named Crispus Attucks. You had a brilliant guy also during that time, during that same period, named Benjamin Banneker. Benjamin Banneker was an astronomer, a mathematician, and a naturalist, what we would call a naturalist, I guess now. I don't know what they called it back then. Also, he published an almanac, and he was among the, when they were doing the original plans for Washington, D.C., I think he was among the survey. He was among the surveying team. That, I don't know how, there's some debate about how involved he was in that process. But he was involved to some degree in that, the original Washington, D.C., what became Washington, D.C. And like I said, but if you allow them to teach history, we allow these white people that run these schools and these other educational institutions to teach history, I just will be very brief, probably limited to a paragraph or two. We've been here 400 years and haven't done a damn thing but pick cotton, dismissing the accomplishments of great men like Dr. George Washington Carver, Booker T. Washington, W.E.B. Du Bois, great women in our history like Mary McLeod Bethune, Madam C.J. Walker, people like that. In our history, in our rich history, we have scientists, mathematicians, brilliant legal minds, politicians. Our history runs the gamut as far as the great people from history. And we've even now had a black president. I'm talking about, of course, President Barack Obama. And, there are some, like, you got some black Republicans and some others that say, Obama didn't really do anything for us. Well, on the brother's behalf, I'm going to say this. I think one thing he did do for us was he did show our children the realm of possibility as far as like what can be achieved if you will work hard, stay the course, keep your eyes on the prize, and study hard what you can accomplish. One of the reasons that he may not have done anything is because we were so happy. Some of us were so happy to have a black president that we didn't demand anything from him. So that's shame on us, not shame on him. But you can look at the big picture. The brother didn't do us any harm either. His hands were tied, pretty much. I'm not making excuses for him or anything, but when you got a senator that comes out. A Republican senator that comes out once they won the House back, and I think it was 2010, and they said their agenda for the next 2 years of his first term would be to make him a one-term president. So that tells you the whole story there, you know. So I'm gonna leave that at that. But Black history is important because, like I said, our kids need to see people in these professions that I named that look like them. If they never see that, you know, they just think, you know, like these goals are unobtainable for them. So that's why Black history is important, and it's important that we tell our own narrative. You know, like I don't want anybody else telling. You know, you don't want anybody else telling your narrative. How, you know, like, because they'll get it wrong. Just like I said, they can't even get their own history right. Why in the hell would I trust them with mine to tell the story of my people? So anyway, it's Black History Month. Let's all try to get up on our history this month, you know, like, you know, pass that knowledge on to the young people, because we live. This is like I've been saying, this is a war. And when I say war, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about necessarily a physical war. You know, although there's some aspects of it that have been physical also, but it's just a war. It's been declared on us, particularly black males in this country. And I'm not trying to portray us as victims or anything like that, but I'm just telling it like it is. So we have to fight smart. You know, we have to like choose our battles wisely. And knowledge is one of the main tools that we're gonna have to use to even survive this battle, much less win it. So, you know, we need to like get up on, like I said, our history. You know, like there's another adage that you know, they say, if you want to keep something from black people, put it in a book. That's sad, but you know, there's a lot of people that just don't read, and so, you know, I know you know, a lot of them. So, you know, other than read something besides the sports page, you know, the newspaper. Let's try to be better, people. Really, let's try to be better. This is too crucial a time in our history for us to be dropping the ball or to be half-stepping, for real. And that is my podcast for today. Until next time, thank you, and may God bless and keep you. Peace.